here. All right. Hello, MOSHAPE. We are here to present to you a session called Missouri Physical Education, Resources and Collaboration. My name is Brad Brummel. I'm the Health and PE Coordinator for Springfield Public Schools, and I am happy to be joined today by two awesome coordinators, Pat and Sally. Pat, will you introduce yourself?
I am Patrick Fine. I'm the K-12 Health and Physical Education Coordinator for the Rockwood School District.
And I'm Sally Schulte. I'm in the Wentzville School District. I teach K-6 PE and Health, and I'm also the lead teacher for K-12 PE and Health.
Awesome. So the three of us have been collaborating a lot since last spring, since COVID hit. We've served on several similar task force and collaboration efforts to try to provide resources for health and PE teachers across the state and across the nation. And so we are taking the time during today's session just to share some of these collaboration efforts, some of the resources, where you can find some of these resources, and just collaboration and advocacy as a whole and how that can benefit you as a teacher, us as a community, and more importantly, our students in our communities. So we're going to dive right in, and you just met the three facilitators for today. Here you'll find our contact information if you have any follow-up questions after the session, and how you can connect with us on Twitter and social media. We would love to connect with you. Also access to today's material. So if you scan the QR code with your phone or an iPad, you will have access to today's Google Slide presentation. And following the recording, you'll have access to the video at a later time as well. So the first thing we'd like to introduce are the two Mo-Ready resources that were created this school year. In August, we released a COVID-19 reentry teacher resource, and this was focused to help teachers with the daunting task of returning to school with all of these safety guidelines, with a lot of restrictions. And when it was released in August, it got over 2,400 teacher downloads in a very short period. And I think that was confirmation that a resource like this was needed, and that the collaboration efforts that were taken to create this resource was really, I think, what made this resource great, because it was a resource created by teachers for teachers. And so a little background, a little history. Sean Neville's organized me, Pat, and Sally to facilitate three different groups of teachers at each level, elementary, middle, and high. And these teachers met weekly on their summer to organize and create standard-based activities for classroom activities, for no equipment activities, or limited equipment activities with social distancing in mind. And so those are kind of the three buckets that those activities fall under. And that was kind of the why behind that first resource, was to help teachers for the return to school in August. And then the second one is a fitness testing at home teacher resource, and that has just been released in October, and it has a little over 100 teacher downloads. And we know that this resource may not be needed by a lot of teachers at this time, but we feel that it will at some point this year, as DESE is requiring us to still report our fitness scores for 5th, 7th, and 9th grade. And so we feel as more teachers approach that fitness testing time of their year and their scope and sequence, that they will find this resource useful, as it helps teachers with how to conduct that for students at home. So here's a look at that COVID-19 reentry teacher resource. You can see that you can organize it. It's in a Google Sheet, so you can organize it however you want to if you make your own copy. But you can quickly see the check boxes, or whether it's an inside or outside activity. It's also standard aligned to our SHAPE standards. It's organized by grade level, kind of the category or unit that you would find it in. And there's video links, there's activity plan links. And then you'll notice on the bottom the different tabs that are available. So not only do we have those three different categories of resources, but also some guidance documents, just some great resources that we used to create the resource, and then also an SEL component as well. And so if you haven't had time to check out that resource, we would highly encourage you to do that. And then this is what the fitness testing at home resource looks like. It's categorized by fitness component, and each fitness component has different options. And a lot of Fitness Graham Cooper resources and Presidential Youth Fitness Program resources as well with your at-home modifications. These at-home modifications are not replacements for our Fitness Graham test that we traditionally use. This is a modification used for this year while a lot of our students are learning at home. So inside this resource, you can find a quick description, how-to tutorial videos that you can give your students, resources that you can include in your learning management system, like a countdown timer or a visual, and Google Docs submission templates that you can actually provide your students for them to turn in to show evidence of their learning or their skill or their test. So Pat and Sally, would either of you two add any insight onto either of these resources?
No, Brad, I think you hit everything on the nose. They're great resources. They're made by teachers for teachers, and they're really meant to just to help people out during this time. So make sure you check them out.
And again, I know Pat's going to talk more about collaboration later in this presentation, but these two resources would not be what they are without the collaboration effort from across the state by teachers, across the state by us through coordinators. Because if I was tasked to create either one of these resources, it would look a lot different. And I think the other two coordinators would say the same thing. Just the process of collaborating together really push these resources to the quality that they are. And then there is a tutorial video on how to use that at-home fitness testing resource, because it is a little different. It's for a lot of us, it's the first time we're asking students to do their fitness testing at home. And so we took the time to do a little tutorial video that you'll have access to with this Google slide. And you can check that out to kind of more familiarize yourself with the resource. So Sally, would you talk about where teachers can find these resources, and then also a lot of other great resources to help them with their practice?
Yeah, absolutely. So those two resources are located in a number of different places. And we're going to go through these websites pretty quickly because there's some other really great stuff here for teachers to look to for resources or for anything else that they might need. So let's start with the DESE website. Brad is showing us right now actually what the home page looks like for health and physical education on our Missouri DESE webpage. And there's a lot of stuff there. So if you scroll down go to the next slide or the website, either one's fine. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to share with you guys what all is here, because some of us don't necessarily think to go to DESE for a lot. Well, there's just a lot of things here. So let's go through it. So down at the bottom of the first homepage, if you click on physical education and physical activity, on that page, you will find a number of different resources. This is where all of our standards live. So we have the SHAPE standards, our national standards. We also have the grade level expectations from Missouri. The PCAT is on here. There's just lots of stuff. Any type of resources you need when it comes to grade level expectations or standards, it's here. It's on that page. Down at the bottom where it says fitness assessment reporting, you'll find our MoReady at home fitness assessment Google slide or Google sheet, sorry. And then you'll also find lots of information on like the Brockport test, how to use the Fitness Graham tests, the different reference guides and the calculators. All that stuff is here. It's all located in one place, and it's underneath that tab on the homepage. If you go further down, they also have links for the challenges and the different awards that you can print out. And then if we go back to the homepage again, or actually if you just go up and you go to model curriculum. So there was a task force put together by DESE. I'm not sure when, but it wasn't too far back. And they actually put together by standards different lessons for you to use. So I know that there's a lot of resources out there, but this is just nice to have, knowing that it came from Missouri teachers. So they have our students in mind. So if you open up the lessons, Brad, could you just open up lesson 1 for K through 2? If you open it up, it's set up very easy to read. They actually give you the objectives, the standards that are covered, the vocabulary that you would be using with your kids, the equipment that you need, the setups, the safety, I mean, literally they go through everything for you. The entire lesson is there, including the assessments at the end. And there's modifications in there as well for enrichment and for reinforcement. So this was just a really well thought out resource that DESE had some great teachers put together. And I really feel like our teachers needed to know it existed. So it is on that DESE homepage as well under model curriculum. And then if we go back to DESE's page again, and you click on professional learning webinars, tools, and resources, when you're on this part of the page, there is so much that our teachers have been doing as far as getting just some great content out there. Spaker Spot is noted on here. And there is the upcoming stuff that's coming up for our teachers. It's all on here. Our resources are listed on here. There's skills-based health education with Holly Alperin, which is some really awesome stuff if you haven't looked into it yet. And then there's also the K-12 PE stuff with Open National Trainers. There's just a lot of really great content here. If you need a Spasha PD, come here and look this stuff up. It's great. And then they also have the virtual learning series from this past summer from 2020 that's on here as well. And those were some really good things when it came to standards-based assessments and rubrics, and even our own Dr. Patrick Fine was highlighted here as well. He had some stuff during the summer. So that is that page. That's DESE. There is a lot more stuff to really dig into on the DESE webpage, but check it out. Take some time and really look through it and see if there's some things in there. I know I found some things when I was digging through. I didn't even know it was housed on that website. So DESE's webpage is really nice. There's a lot there. Make sure you dig through it. Patrick and Brad, did you guys have anything to add about the DESE page?
The only thing I wanted to say is, I've followed the DESE page for years, and it seems like over the last 12 to 18 months, it is truly a living, breathing web page that there's constantly more information that's being put on there. I know if you look at it now and then look at it 6 months from now, there's probably going to be even more information that's added to that. So keep checking back to that site on a regular basis.
Sally, did you want to talk a little bit about the Missouri Healthy Schools website?
Yes, so that's the next one that we are going to discuss. So this is a website that was put together by Laura Beckman and by Sean and Terrell Garner, who are all members of our state association and great people. And really what Mo Healthy Schools has is a lot more of the PD stuff. So there is some webinars on here. All of our resources are on here. There's resources for nutrition and physical activity while you're at home. We have Spaker Spots on here as well. And then there's the reentry considerations for Missouri specifically. And then they also have a link to the next website we're going to talk about, which is the Shape America's reentry guidelines and considerations. And then MOSHAPE Minute, which is something that Guy Danhoff has been putting together. And those have been on Twitter. So there's a lot of topics in there that have been covered. And this website as well, like Patrick said, changes frequently. So this is a good one to come back to if there's something going on in our state. It's usually covered in this webpage. So definitely check this one out when you have some time. All right, and then the last website we were going to touch on is the SHAPE website. And this one was created and is monitored and ran by our own Sean Nevels. And he is specifically working on this year's COVID-19 resources. There's all kinds of stuff on this website as well. And it's just another great tool to know that exists. And when you're needing stuff, go look at it. So there's self-care, there's instructional videos, there's tools and resources, there's SEL, which we know is really huge this year for our kids. It's always huge, but especially this year with the things that our families and our students are dealing with. So this is just another great resource to look at for that type of information. And those are the 3 websites we really wanted you guys to know about as far as specifically our state, but even more than that, it's, our nation as well and the things that we're dealing with this year. And these websites continuously change, and make sure that you bookmark them and check them out frequently for updates and things of that nature.
Yeah. And I would say that these three websites and the resources that we've covered so far are all very goal oriented with quick and easy to find and organize, because as educators, time is money, time is very valuable. And so we have to use that to the best of our ability. And we want to make sure that if we are sharing resources, if we are providing these resources, that they're organized and that you can find what you need to quickly. And that's the whole goal. So Patrick is now going to take us into a little bit about just the idea of collaboration and how it has impacted our work recently.
You know, we did want this to be a part of the session, the idea of collaboration and some steps maybe that teachers can think about, you know, because we're so busy in the classroom a lot of times planning and helping our students that sometimes the collaborative process is something outside of what we're doing during the regular school day. And so we wanted to talk about just the benefits of collaboration, kind of what we did in this process. I have learned so much from Sally and from Brad, and I think it helps when you get a group of people together that you respect, that you really are interested in what they think, and it makes the collaborative process a whole lot easier and makes it a smoother process. So we thought, you know, just the definition of collaboration, it's simply just working with someone or a group of people to accomplish something, whatever it is that that you're wanting to accomplish. It really doesn't matter what it is. It could be a simple idea that you want to explore a little bit further. The different types of collaboration, there is open collaboration, to where, you know, similar to a town hall meeting, to where you might have 20 people, 50 people, 100 people together, and you're just trying to get ideas from that large group of people. The other is a closed type of collaboration, which is kind of what we did. There was a specific group of people, us three, that had an interest in this topic and wanted to get together, and we had a certain amount of expertise in this area that we kind of honed in on the resources together. And then obviously you have to have a why to collaborate. Obviously, if you have more than one mind together at one time, you can accomplish more than if you are sitting down individually trying to think of something. Because it's funny, you get more than one person together, that it's hard for your mind to think about something more than one thing at a time. And as you're going down one path, you have multiple minds that are exploring other options and other things that you have thought about, but they're taking it sometimes in a different direction than what your mind is taking it. So bringing those minds together, you can accomplish a whole lot more. Obviously, the workload, if you have multiple people working on something, you can share the workload. And the quality of work a lot of times can be a whole lot better than if one individual is working on that work together or by themselves. And you're able to maximize the reach. If I create something and I put something out, I can get it out to my teachers within my district very easily. But if the three of us are working together, now I have three different districts that we can get that information out to, or the knowledge of Sally and Brad, what they bring to the table, I'm able to get that out to all of my teachers where I wouldn't have had that information before. And
Pat, I would add on to that, knowing that Missouri has a lot of districts without coordinators, or districts that are asking a teacher to be a coordinator, that's tough. And so the more that we as coordinators can share, the more that we're blessing those districts and teachers who don't have district PE and health coordinators.
You bet. You know, some of the basic steps to collaboration is first you have to have an idea or someplace to start. Mm-hmm. Then you have to really decide who's going to be teamed up with that. Is it going to be one other person that you're teaming up with? Is it going to be a group of people that you're teaming up with? Who's making that decision? But I'm really kind of going through this hoping that teachers will grab onto the collaboration process themselves and just initiate that themselves. And sometimes you got to get outside of your building, outside of your own individual team that you're working with, and try to collaborate with people outside of there. If you don't have somebody within your building that is interested in the collaborative process, then find somebody within MOSHAPE or find somebody in a neighboring district that you can partner with. You have to also set a time, or sometimes it's easy to set a document with Google Docs now. You can share and collaborate on a document where you don't have to necessarily be together on a Zoom call or a phone call or get together live with that person. And then something else that I think is missed a lot in the collaborative process is the idea of building in some processing time. Everybody processes an idea differently. Sometimes people can get together and certain people are able to process things immediately. And other people, it takes them overnight or a week or a month to really sit on that idea, to think about it, to let that idea build and grow within them. And they'll come back later sometimes and have a ton of ideas because they've used that time to really think more deeply about what that concept and idea is. So don't automatically think that it's going to be something in an hour's time that you're going to be able to come up with solutions. Sometimes it's over a period of time that it's going to evolve. Then the collaborative session itself is, be open to the ideas of others. Be open. Try not to be judgmental about it. The idea of leaving your egos at home. All of us, I think, that would come to a collaboration session are probably people that are a little bit ambitious. They are hardworking, hard charging, and you almost have to intentionally leave your ego behind when you come into those collaborative sessions. And encourage all ideas. And try not to respond to an idea, but just collect ideas and listen to ideas. And allow everybody in that session, whether you have one person in the session, 5 people, 10 people in the session, if they're taking their time to be in that session, allow them the opportunity to provide input during that session. And I like the idea of listening for understanding, where when somebody says something, especially if it's something that you have a little bit of understanding is, sometimes our mind will automatically grab onto it and think we know where that person is going with that idea. But allowing that idea within that person to evolve and giving them the opportunity to expand on it and asking questions of that person of, why'd you say that? Or tell me more about that, before you take their idea and run with it in a different direction. Try to explore their idea fully before you do that.
Patrick, can I add one thing?
You bet.
That slide is very powerful. You also need to really know who you are when you come into a collaboration. You need to know what you're coming to the table with, and you need to be able to share those pieces. And sometimes that's hard for people. So really, this collaboration process can also be very reflective type work. So knowing where you come from, what type of work you do, the students you work with, the goal and the vision that you all are trying to create or get to, knowing the pieces that you can really offer is something very powerful for a collaboration. So I just wanted to add that little piece in there.
Yep, that's great. In the last couple slides is just how we started this whole process, how it evolved, and we got to where we are today. Is we were meeting on a regular basis with the coordinators in the state of Missouri. And during one of those sessions, it was stated about, boy, wouldn't it be nice to be able to have resources in place for our teachers when they come back in the fall. And that idea kind of developed a little bit. The 3 of us were able to get together and kind of able to explore that concept and that idea a little bit further. And what we really started our sessions with when we got together was we started asking basic questions was, why are we creating these resources? What's the real purpose behind it? What types of resources, if we did create those, what types of resources are we going to add? Who's going to create them? Who's going to put all this stuff together? That's when we decided we need to assemble a team throughout the state of Missouri to help us do that. that the three of us, it was bigger than the three of us to be able to pull all that stuff together. And then what's the timeline? When are we going to have this completed? Where are we going to put the document once it is completed? And then once we have this great resource, how are we going to let the people know about it? And that's when we were able to reach out to DESI and MOSHAPE and all the resources that they have to be able to really market it and get it out there so it's available to all the teachers. So I love the collaborative process, and I know the three of us will be working together and collaborating on a whole lot more things in the future. And I really encourage teachers to grab a hold of the idea. And if you think of an idea, is explore it. Find somebody else to explore it with you, whether that ends up resulting in anything. Do it just for the sake of collaborating, and you'd be surprised when you start with an idea of where that idea is going to take you after a couple sessions of sitting down with somebody that is really interested in collaborating with you. And Brad, did you want to talk about the advocacy part of it?
Sure. And I would just close with, on the collaboration, I liked the slide that talked about the closed and the open, because those are the two most common types of collaboration we see. And typically there's one of those that we're more comfortable with. There's one of those that teachers tend to find more enjoyable. I think my Springfield teachers at the elementary level love the open collaboration because they're in their building all by themselves, typically as an elementary PE teacher. And so they engage very often in an open collaboration efforts on social media and networking. But I would challenge those teachers to find more closed collaboration opportunities where they can really be intentional about a task or a project in a specific group and really producing high quality products within that closed collaboration process. And then if you flip that, a lot of our secondary teachers are blessed to have other professional PE teachers and health teachers in their building. And so they collaborate a lot more often on a closed basis within the teachers at their site, but maybe don't engage in an open format as often because they're just blessed with that closed group at their building. And so I would challenge those teachers, if that's you, find a way to get connected in more of an open format, because they're both beneficial. And a lot of times if you engage in both, you'll find not only are you receiving more resources and more ideas, but you're going to be providing those to our community as well. And then we'll just close, and Patrick and Sally, feel free to add on to this. We just feel like we know that MOSHAPE session is based around advocacy, and we really feel like the collaboration process really lends itself to advocacy. It's really hard to maximize and to be our best advocates if we do not collaborate, if we don't put ourselves in position to collaborate. And so this slide is just kind of the things that are important when considering collaboration and advocacy. And we've talked about a lot of these things already through our slides. And so just to kind of close today, these are things that you should be considering as you're probably going to get challenged this session to where can you advocate, where are your strengths when it comes to advocacy. And I think collaboration plays a big role in that. And Sally and Patrick, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Brad. Just remember that advocacy doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be on a huge platform. It can start very small. Just take small steps with it if you're not used to it. And like Brad said, collaboration is definitely, it's a part of advocacy, and it's definitely something that will help you feel more comfortable when you take those bigger steps. So don't be afraid, just get out there and try it out. Find somebody to talk to.
You know, I tell you, the advocacy part is so much easier when you get around people that you respect, that you really have an interest in listening to. And sometimes people that say things in a different way than what you say it, that it gives you those words and those phrases and things that it makes it easier for you when you have that opportunity of what are you going to say to your administrator? What are you going to say to that parent? And sometimes those words from a colleague or from a collaborative session, they remind you of what can I say in this situation. So the more you get around knowledgeable people and people that I love to be around people that know more than what I do. And I think that whole process will help with advocacy.
Absolutely. Well, we just want to thank you for watching and diving into this session. Please subscribe on YouTube and in our different networks here with MOSHAPE and Missouri Healthy Schools. And please connect with us on all social networks. We would love to connect with you. And you'll have access again to this slideshow with this QR code. And we wish you the best school year. Thank you for joining us at the MOSHAPE Virtual Convention. Have a great day.